And then it's the third phase. The second phase is where you do most of the couples therapy, all the deep insight therapy. The third phase is usually the shortest phase of therapy. And the third phase of therapy is where you create a new vision of what you want your relationship to look like. So you can't go back to what it was. You have to really say, okay, this is the line in the sand and we can only go forward now. And in order to do that, you really have to grieve the old marriage. Like it wasn't probably in your vision of how this was supposed to turn out. So you have to let go. There's a big grieving process of letting go of how you thought things were going to turn out. And I'm quite directive about it. I am very specific and say, that marriage that you had is pretty much over, because once you cheat, break that rule, you can't ever go back to that. So you have to really draw a line in the sand and say that's over, and then move forward to a new marriage together. And sometimes that's very much of a shock, but a lot of times people are relieved because it's hard to go back to something where they realize they're just going to end up here again. So if you end the relationship the way it is, then you don't have to try to fit yourself back into that old rule, because then you're going to end up cheating again. So you have to really end that marriage, and then you can make a decision. Do we want to have a new marriage together, but with different rules? And then you have to decide, what is your monogamy agreement going to look like for this relationship? And are you going to be totally monogamous? Or are you going to acknowledge that maybe there's some fluidity there, that what's going to happen if one of you cheats again? Are you going to get divorced? How honest and open are you going to be? And how are you going to talk about this affair? Like, how are you going to integrate the meaning of this affair as you go forward into your new relationship? Is it just going to be like, okay, we're never going to talk about it again? Or we've learned from this? Or what is the meaning going to be? And partners who talk about the affair and actually integrate some of it into their new relationship do much better than people who say, all right, we're never going to talk about it again. Let's just ignore that ever happened. So part of that is repairing and correcting, like the communication, and also learning to appreciate what is working in the relationship as you go forward. Instead of pointing out, well, this didn't work and that wasn't working. Whenever you criticize and point out what's not working, it just makes each partner defensive. But if you point out what is working and what you'd like more of, you can expand on whatever the base is that was really solid. I think you have to renew your monogamy agreement often, and agree on what that means, because sometimes there's an implicit assumption that, okay, we're monogamous, but I can still go out with my friends. Or we're monogamous, but it doesn't count if I go to a strip club. You have to really agree and talk about everything. Does masturbation count? Does looking at pornography count? You have to be very, very open about your conversation. Your partner may want certain things in your sex life that you don't want. You don't have to agree to everything, but you should have some empathy for it. So in other words, it could sound like, it makes sense that you want to do that. I don't want to do that, but I get that you do. And you don't have to agree to anything, but you should try to understand each other's perspectives. And to continue to look at what the exits are in the relationship and closing them, or at least defining them.